Hello everyone. Welcome to Qimpro's 10th webinar. I can see there are quite a few participants already in, and keeping in spirit of quality, we will start on time. So thank you for joining in. This is Qimpro's 10th webinar, a highly engaging and informative series on quality and quality related topics. I'm Anshuman Tiwari. I'll be your host today. Uh, and it is my pleasure now to welcome Mr. Suresh Lulla to conduct this webinar on leadership for customer-driven quality. Many of you know Mr. Lulla, but those who are new, I'll do a brief introduction. Mr. Lulla has over 50 years of experience as a management consultant, speaker, trainer, coach, author, and the most favorite part of for me is the storyteller part. He brings alive principles of quality through stories, and you will see that in today's webinar. He founded Qimpro, India's first quality consulting firm in the country, and in 1987. And I had the pleasure and privilege to work with him from 1998 to 2006, the best of my career, 8 years of my career there. And those of you who are attending, of course, for the first time, uh, would uh, would look forward to the uniqueness of Mr. Lulla's webinar. He uses stories, as I said, fables, as he likes to call them, to demystify topics and explain in a way that you will retain days and weeks after attending the webinar, which is quite unique to these webinars compared to many others. These fables, as we call, are based on Mr. Lulla's experiences since 1972 as a consultant, and he has now published 75 quality fables in 3 volumes, and there is a fourth one in the making. For anyone who's interested in these quality fables, they're all available on qimpro.com/store. Go to qimpro.com, click on store, and you can actually purchase these fables. In the next 30 minutes during the webinar, Mr. Lulla will of course take you through his principles and fables around customer-driven quality. Please note that we will be recording this webinar, as we do record all webinars, to be able to share them later on Qimpro's LinkedIn page. So do follow us there. The URL to the page is linkedin.com/company/Qimpro, Qimpro. It will be included in the message that will be sent across to you as well. So good luck, happy learning, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anshuman. Thank you for your warm introduction. Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the 10th Qimpro webinar. For this webinar, we have our host, Anshuman Tiwari, a once upon a time Qimpro consultant, who is today synonymous with process excellence for global service delivery. The topic for the webinar is Leadership for Customer-Driven Quality. The 3 keywords being leadership, customer, and quality. So who is the customer? That's where our problem starts. We do not know our customer. We only know our market. We do market segmentation based on demographics. What we need is customer segmentation based on behavior. You can benchmark Amazon. So who defines quality? Customer. Quality is customer perception divided by customer expectation. Customer perceptions are relatively stable. Customer expectations are a moving target. They get influenced by competition. Who is the final inspector? Customer. Who pays your salary? Customer. Let's move over to leadership. Leadership is collective of the top management. And the most important responsibility is that of setting a vision for the organization, creating a customer focus, demonstrating clearly and visibly organization values, values based on principles of life, setting high expectations for the workforce, particularly in the area of customer focus, and walking your talk. Let's take a little look at vision. Vision sets the direction and character of organization. This is the collective expression of the leadership. It also sets the image for customers and employees, and probably society too. It's an inspiration for the organization. It brings fire in the belly. It's the reason why people would like to join an organization. A good vision must be customer focused, should be doable in a finite number of years, say 5 years, should be compelling, bringing passion into every employee. The reason why we remain in an organization is because of its vision. Should be shared by every employee. And one should know as an employee how my work will take the organization to the vision. Creating a vision. Understand customers. Understand customers proactively. Walk to the customer, meet the customer, talk to the customer, understand the customer through actions. Be completely obsessed understanding customer. Leadership values. Leadership values, and if they walk their talk on values, sets a culture for an organization. Environment is a more recent addition to creating a vision. Environment is also a customer, Mother Earth. And Mother Earth demands that you remain, whatever you do not hurt me. Organization, do we have an organization that's appropriate for delivering delight to customers, delivering our vision collectively? What are the related derivatives of a vision? Values. Please understand values are not just a chart or a piece of paper that enunciates values. Values must be based on principles of life. As you sow, so you reap. Values are an input to the vision. The vision is also influenced by the mission of an organization. Is our vision appropriate for the mission of our organization, the purpose of our existence? Is our vision in sync with our policies? Focus on customer first. When you have all this, the deployment of the vision happens in your long-term plans. Mission. What business are we in? Mission, vision. Desired future state of organization, a snapshot of what you wish to be in probably the next 5 years. It is collectively owned by the leadership team, and they are accountable for accomplishing a vision. Values, principles to be observed to meet the vision, or principles to be served by meeting a vision. If environment is part of your vision and part of your principles, then principle to be served by meeting vision. Principles to be observed to meet vision. Usually, this goes in the area of ethics. Policy. There's only one policy an organization needs. Commitment to customer. Customer first, customer first, customer first. Here's an example for a consumer products company. The mission: to manufacture and supply consumers with high quality, safe product X. Mission of a missionary. Vision: be the leading consumer product X company in the world. Vision of a visionary. Let me build on these principles through a fable. Now, a fable is substantially facts, but I do take the liberty with a bit of fiction. The quality fable that follows demonstrates the leaders must walk their talk. Being simple is difficult. A customer-focused culture starts at the top. The fable is, people listen to what you say, they believe what you do. This is the story of an organization, a multinational organization that appoints a fresh chairman every 5 years. Each chairman supports the same vision and mission of the group. The chairman is selected through a process that lasts for 2 years. A short list of candidates are announced for the next chairmanship 2 years in advance, and they're groomed. Finally, one of them graduates to being the chairman. This organization is customer focused. It's customer driven. It deals with consumer products such as soaps, detergents, um, food items, and so on. I was invited for a quality improvement assignment in this organization, and we were looking at improving the sales process. I was most impressed by the commitment of the team members. They each had completed the tasks that were assigned to them on my monthly visits. My need to facilitate or coach seemed absolutely minimal. The discipline followed by these people from the field in completing their work, in being ready for the meeting, was most outstanding. Each of them was educated, each of them well-groomed, and when we met, they had something to offer to the team in terms of knowledge. Each of them had found time away from their normal sales work to come here and complete their assignment. They respected one another's time, and this was the absolute demonstration of integrity. Customer is number one. I have heard of customer is number one on banners. I've heard people talk about this, but I've never seen organizations walk the story where customer is number one. It is life. And this kind of culture can only happen if it starts with the top. I was introduced to the secretary of the chairman. And the chairman and the secretary shared with me the diary of the chairman. For the next 6 months, 2 days a month were frozen for the chairman's walk into the streets. During these walks, he met kirana walas, pan walas. He met customers. He met competitors' customers to see with his eyes and hear with his ears what the customer really wants. No amount of statistics can match knowing it by learning on the ground itself. So it was no surprise that the salespeople also went to the field but did other responsibilities that were assigned to them. Now, obviously, this whole process started at the top. And going from chairman to chairman, there had to be a strong system underlying, a plan, 2 days a month, each chairman, generation after generation, walked the streets. That's the plan and the do. They reviewed their learnings with others who were doing similarly, walking the field. and they acted on new designs and improvements on their products and their processes. PDCA. What are the lessons we've learned? Continuity in customer-focused culture is vital for survival and success in a competitive market. If you don't have a customer, you won't have business. Professionalism starts by respecting one another's time. Get the commitment first, in this case to quality improvement. Change in behavior will follow. Keep your promises and be trusted by your colleagues. Do the work assigned to you between two meetings and do it. Hearing the voice of the final consumer is education for all levels of management. The secretary is a treasure of information. I had shared this story with a client in Bangkok, manufacturing acrylic fibers. Customers spread all over the world. They did market segmentation and were not doing too good. They were second or third in the global market. When they understood that the chairman of a company must actually go and meet customers and understand, they started doing the same, and yes, they became the largest acrylic fiber manufacturer in the world. What did they learn from the consumer? That they use acrylic fiber apart from sheets and covers to make children's toys. There was a paradigm shift. The ultimate consumer was a child, and the child needed safe products. I can't tell you how that organization transformed. It's a simple process. Meet the customer and start with the top. Discuss what you've learned with your colleagues who are doing similar activity with other customers and act on the difference. You are guaranteed success when you follow this route. Quality improvement. Return on investment in quality improvement is amongst the highest available to managers, and it is not capital intensive. This is the belief of Dr. Duran, and this is what he ingrained in Qimpro, quality improvement, Qimpro.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lulla, for again, enlightening us with your inimitable style. And of course, the fables help to draw attention and also the focus on the topic. Thanks a lot. All participants, you would have received a poll button. I urge you strongly to take the poll while we move to the Q&A session. It's a quick poll, so it should not take more than a couple of seconds. So, okay, moving on to the Q&A session. We are now open for questions, and I noticed that a couple of you have already asked a question. Please click the Q&A, question and answer icon at the bottom panel of your screen. Uh, Please do not ask questions in the chat box because it's difficult to monitor both the boxes. So, there you go. You have your opportunity to ask your questions. Uh, I have a couple of questions. I will start with one and take this time to ask more questions as we have a little time on the webinar. So, Mr. Lulla, first question from Vandana Bhagat is, what is the voice of customers in hospitals and what is customer-driven quality for hospitals? So, very appropriate question because healthcare, as you know, is a major area where a lot of quality improvement is needed and a lot of work is done all over the world, and you have some experience here as well. So I'll repeat the question. What is the voice of
Yeah,
customers in
please repeat
hospitals?
the question.
What is the voice of customers in hospitals and what is the customer driven quality for hospitals?
Okay. Oh. Let me first explain how you do a voice of customer. Customers speak in their language, and your task is to translate that into your language, which is more technical or operational. Like a customer may want um, a cool room, and you need to figure out what does that word cool mean to this patient. A patient may be talking about temperature, or a patient may be talking about the decor being cool. So from the primary need express, which is a cool room, you need to go further into understanding secondary needs. It can go further into tertiary needs till it is down to technical language as to what is needed from the hospital to satisfy that need. So it's not just a casual conversation. There's a matrix available that can help you translate primary needs to secondary, to tertiary, into units of measure, into goals to be set, and then how it will be accomplished. Um, I'd be happy to share that with you if you send us your uh, email ID. I'd be we'll make an arrangement for you to receive that document. Now, hospitals, again, the question is who's the customer? And when human life is at stake, it's even more difficult. You, in the Indian culture, you have families also coming with patients. Are these families not customers for certain needs? So we have to figure out what the needs are of each of these segmented customers. And we have to even observe their behavior to understand what kind of needs need to be satisfied. Customers are not articulate in what their real needs are. There are latent needs, there are stated needs. So engaging with a customer, voice of customer, is a pretty laborious exercise. And unless you make a habit of it in an organization, you will never know the true voice of a customer. Okay?
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Lulla. So, Vandana, I hope you have your answer and do get in touch with us for the document that Mr. Lulla has so kindly offered to share. I'll move to the next question, sir. There is a question from Raghavendra. It's a long-worded question, but I'll give you a summary. Raghavendra is a freelance trainer and consultant in lean manufacturing, and he, of course, meets with several customers who his advice is to start with vision and align the same with the organization's objectives and so on. But what he sees is that there is a most customers want to take a shortcut and jump into lean tools and don't worry about customer focus at all. What would your advice be to Raghavendra and many others who may have a similar question?
You'll have to make that question a little shorter.
Okay. I already reduced it, but let me simplify. Many customers want to take a shortcut and jump into usage of tools like Lean and maybe Six Sigma and avoid even thinking or talking about customer focus. What would your advice be to such customers?
See, ultimately, quality is about a customer and a process that delivers an output to a customer. The customer behavior is not stable. It's a moving target. What pleased a customer 2 weeks back will now be commoditized by your competitors, and they will not see the differentiation. So you need processes that are agile, that satisfy a customer. Now, if you're looking at efficiency, then you worry about your process management through Lean or whatever you may, Six Sigma you may follow. Because they do make your processes faster, better, cheaper. Faster, better, cheaper. But being faster, better, cheaper can be replicated by your competition and anybody. All they have to do is figure out what you did different. The cutting edge comes when you can do things faster, better, cheaper, and different. And make a habit of being different. Whatever you're different with should be something that the customer will get a wow out of. Something they had not anticipated. Something that they was latent, but they did not know that that was a need that makes a difference. So you need to chase your customer. For Lean, etc., you may be looking at customer chasing you with complaints. So it's a matter of, are you looking at your top line or your bottom line? If you're looking at your top line, then you better chase your customer. If you're looking at only improving the efficiency bottom line and removing all the wasteful costs such as cost of poor quality, then you can follow their Six Sigma, etc. Another observation, some of these sophisticated tools work in certain environments. Now, Six Sigma was very successful at Motorola, GE and all because they had high volume production of diodes and transistors and so on. You can't use Six Sigma in a hospital environment. It's like using a sledgehammer to kill a fly. You'll be so lost in data gathering that you'll forget why you are doing the improvement. Because your customers in a hospital, sorry, I moved into a hospital, are more demanding. I don't know if that answers your question, but we like to look modern by adopting newer and newer methods. When you look at their origin, they all have symptom to cause to remedy, a diagnostic journey and a remedial journey. Now, what you pack in between and the kind of statistics you can throw in, that's up to you. But statistics can lie. They can lie badly. What you see with your eyes and hear with your ears is not lies. You're seeing it. That's the reality.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Lulla. So, Raghavendra, I hope you have your answer. And of course, for your customers who are trying to jump into lean tools and all, Mr. Lulla's advice, as you heard from him, is to be patient and focus on the real stuff first, get the basics right, and then move on to the more sophisticated things. Moving on to the next question, Mr. Lulla, there is a question from Sushil Lahuja. His question is around the usage of the term commitment to customer or customer focus in balanced scorecard. And his question comes from the fact that if we have to balance customer focus, are we not overdoing it if we always focus on uh, customers? Is there anything called overdoing customer focus?
I don't know if we don't have to do everything that the customer wants if it's not going to be good for our business. But you can't avoid not listening to the customer. It's up to you and based on your policies and your vision, etc., whether you will pamper that customer. It's a strategic or a tactical decision you take. But you're taking a decision based on knowledge. No action is also an action. So I don't know what else to add to this.
No, fair enough. So I think Sushil, as Mr. Lulla said, we are talking about understanding the customer, knowing the customer. That does not always necessarily mean taking action on that. Knowing, understanding, and deciding on where to take action, where not to take action is the approach going forward. So I hope you have your answer. Um, Moving on to, there are a couple of questions, sir, on different types of customers. So would you have something to for our audience or for our attendees on, based on customer voice, what can be the categories of customers, or do we need to categorize customers at all? Anything to share on that?
You need to definitely categorize customers based on behavior, how they buy. And, I come back to Amazon. What is Amazon doing? They're looking at your buying behavior. Uh, uh, could you repeat that question again? I seem to.
I'll simplify the question maybe in the. So the question is around categorization of customers on voice, so what they are saying.
Yeah. So categorizing them based on their behavior is essential. Now, whether you want to service that kind of behavior or not is your choice. And everything a customer demands does not necessarily have to be responded to. The cure should not cost more than the disease. So every new demand, every new feature will add to your cost. So there is some optimization to be done. It isn't as vanilla as you just pamper the customer till they are delirious with you.
Yeah.
You have to take a view on this, and I would suggest that you expand your definition of customer to not only the buyer, the external customer, but the user. A parent is the buyer for a toy for a child. The user is the child. Is it fit for use by the child? Quality is fitness for use by the user. The purchase department buys laptops for an organization. The users are different. Is that the most appropriate usage of the laptop? Uh, there's a difference there. So you need to move right up to the user, like in that acrylic company I spoke about. The chief executive not only went to the buyer, but to the users in Sweden to find out that they're using the acrylic to make toys. Now, doesn't that completely change your mindset? Also, think of internal customers. You need internal customer or employee delight to deliver customer delight, particularly in a service providing organization. Think of Mother Earth as a customer. Now, you're not going to hear the voice of Mother Earth, but your conscience will tell you what is right and what is not right. Think of society as a customer. Now, if these are all your values, then your vision would be different. The policy guidelines would be different. And in spite of hearing the voice of customer, you have to filter it through the policies, the values of your organization. Can I satisfy that need? And if so, can I do it faster, better, cheaper, different? Okay?
Yes, yes, sir. Fair enough. So participants, keep your questions coming in case we are not able to take all the questions in this session because of time. You can always send them across to Qimpro and we will find a way to get them answered from Mr. Lulla.
Yeah, I'll be happy to respond to questions.
Thank you, sir. I'll possibly take one more question because we are almost at 45 minutes. This is actually a follow-up question, sir. And from something you said earlier that Six Sigma cannot be used in hospitals. Please elaborate. Question is from Vandana Bhagat. I'll repeat. Six Sigma cannot be used in hospitals. Please elaborate. So, any views, sir?
Not usable in hospitals. So what was the latter part?
Please elaborate. So you had said in an earlier
because
question.
of the high volume of production. Now, every process here is almost customized for the patient. You simply can't use it. There are other tools available which are simpler and understandable by a team. You get consumed in collecting data, and You're not sure of the results. You're only sure of the statistics that come out of that result.
Yeah.
Um, you can use simple problem-solving methods. Do you know the biggest problem with all this is defining a problem? We don't know how to define a problem. And if you learn that art and your management learns the art, they will have the right team with the right methodology where you go from symptom to cause using tools that you understand. Flow charting. The power of flow charting will clean up your process. You'll see the opportunities for improvement in your rework loops. You'll see where you're controlling in your decision diamonds. Use simpler methods that you can relate to, because ultimately any change has to also be implemented by the people who are engaged in that process. Participation of them is important because they have the hands-on knowledge about the problem.
Yeah.
We are not a statistic. I'm a human being. I'm doing something for my patient. So there are simpler methods. If you like, I'd be happy to share some options with you.
Sure. There you go, Anna, your question answered. So, so people, we will stop taking questions now. You can, of course, as discussed earlier, send in your questions. So we'll try our best to answer them individually. And so thanks a lot. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. And, this is where we will more or less close today. Uh, as you know, this is a series of webinars. This is the 10th one today. The topic and date for the next one will be announced very shortly. And since you have already registered for this webinar, you will be alerted on the next one. But it will be better if you, subscribe to our LinkedIn page or like us on the page and get regular alerts on webinars, events, all our digital courses, self-assessment, and Mr. Lulla's blogs, which are very, very educative and enlightening. So to get all that, please follow Qimpro on LinkedIn, and it's fairly easy once you get to the LinkedIn, follow, find Qimpro, and follow it. If you are more WhatsApp generation, then of course we also are pretty active there. Please WhatsApp us with your name on 892. Please make a note: 892-831-3723. The number is also on your screen. So on this WhatsApp number, we will be able to share several of these alerts and keep you updated. We will, of course, as discussed earlier, we will use the broadcast feature on WhatsApp and to even share, things like recordings and stuff, at least the links. And as mentioned earlier, a recording of this session also will be posted on LinkedIn. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Lulla, primarily for taking time out to educate all of us. The investment that you make in these webinars to educate all of us is invaluable. Thank you once again. Thank you, participants, for making the time to attend, and we'll love to see you the next time. Till next time. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Anshuman.